free on all platforms.
Florida on warning from Key West to Miami to Sarasota. A tropical storm warning and the threat of major flooding. The fast-moving storm is expected to make landfall tomorrow, bringing 12 to 16 inches of rain to some areas. 3 more children laid to rest in Uvalde today, and 2 college students shot dead outside an Iowa church. President Biden urging Congress to take action on gun reform. But will they? The member of former President Trump's inner circle arrested. A vocal defender of the former president now facing possible prison time tonight for refusing to cooperate with the January 6th committee. A prison bus escape, a manhunt, a family murdered, and a final shootout. Much more on the tragic end to a real-life crime saga in Texas. Soaring gas prices and the summer driving season just around the corner. What is the Biden administration's plan to address Americans' frustration at the pump? And will it work? We'll get answers from Energy Secretary Jennifer Granholm.
So this is going to be a rough, from now through the end of the year, really.
And in the Prime playlist, Taylor Momsen's journey from child actress to teen TV sensation to bona fide rock star. In a rare in-person interview, she opens up about the difficult and sometimes dark ride she's been on and how she's doing now.
How would you tell someone to begin to living?
Oh, man, that's a big question.
Good evening. I'm Phil Lipoff in for Lindsay Davis tonight. Thank you so much for streaming with us. As we wrap up another busy week here, we are tracking developments on many fronts right now. A tropical threat could dump up to a foot of rain on Florida in the next 24 hours. A former Trump aide has been indicted for contempt of Congress. But we begin tonight with the continued fallout from the increasing number of mass shootings here in this country. We are learning how quickly the Robb Elementary School internal emergency system was activated, but that's only raising new questions about the slow police response. And there is a shocking end to a 3-week manhunt for an escaped Texas fugitive that ended with 5 people dead from an assault rifle. One night after President Biden's plea to Congress to take action on gun reform, will there be a bipartisan breakthrough? On this busy Friday night, Mary Bruce leads us off from the White House.
Tonight from New York to Kentucky and California. Americans protesting gun violence and demanding Washington finally take action. The president today insisting he hears them.
I will do what I can to try to see through we have some real progress.
In a rare primetime address last night, Biden trying to bridge the divide.
This isn't about taking away anyone's rights. It's about protecting children. It's about protecting families.
The president, all too familiar with this fight, again pleading for Congress to ban assault weapons or at least raise the purchasing age from 18 to 21. Expand background checks, and enact safe storage and red flag laws to prevent guns from falling into the hands of people deemed to be dangerous. But even with a majority of Americans backing some of these proposals, any reforms in Congress are likely to be far more narrow. At a hearing yesterday, the bitter divide on full display.
Democrats are always fixated on curtailing the rights of law-abiding citizens.
We cannot keep doing this. An entire generation of children are learning that the adults they look up to cannot or will not protect them.
Overnight, the House Judiciary Committee passing much of what the president asked for.
The ayes have it.
But not one Republican voting for it.
And Mary Bruce joins me now. Mary, the New York State Legislature, as we know, took action on gun control measures last night, including raising the age to purchase an AR-15 style rifle to 21. Do you know if other states are looking to take similar action?
Well, Phil, New York is now the 7th state to take action to make changes to the minimum age requirements to purchase these kinds of weapons, but the first to do so after the recent massacres in Texas and Buffalo. But we do know that in Utah, they are considering similar legislation. In New Jersey, the governor there is pushing for these kinds of reforms. And in Arkansas, the Republican governor there says that changing the minimum age requirement is, in his words, worthy of a conversation. Phil.
Everybody looking at these bipartisan talks. What's the timeline on those talks in Congress? Do you know?
Well, look, our teams who have been in touch with those who are involved in these negotiations say that they feel their talks have been productive. it's unclear whether that productivity means that they're actually going to come to an agreement anytime soon. The Democratic leader in the Senate is giving these negotiators basically until Monday to show that they can make some significant progress. If they are able to make progress and find some common ground, well, then he may give them a little bit more time to try and work this out to see if they can strike a real meaningful deal here. But if by Monday it is clear that they are not able to come together on this, then Schumer has been very clear. He is going to bring this issue to the floor, possibly as early as next week, so that he can get every Republican in the Senate on the record on where they stand on the issue of guns in this country.
All right, Mary Bruce, thank you.
Thank you.
3 more 4th graders from Robb Elementary in Uvalde, Texas, were laid to rest today, a community continuing to grieve as we begin to learn more details about what happened and when an internal alarm system was actually activated. Here's ABC's Marcus Moore.
Tonight, ABC News has learned that less than a minute before the gunman entered Robb Elementary, a school employee pressed an internal alarm on his cell phone, setting off a chain of alerts within the school, warning of an active shooter.
Guy with a rifle.
Seconds later, the shooter was in the school, opening fire on teachers and students. It comes as the New York Times reports the commander on the scene, School District Police Chief Pete Arredondo, did not have a radio on him when he joined the other police officers, according to their law enforcement sources. Investigators want to know whether the chief knew in real time about those desperate 911 calls coming from students.
Is there anybody inside of the building? Tyler is advising he is in the room full of victims at this moment.
According to the Times, 10-year-old Chloe Torres called 911 saying, quote, "There is a lot of bodies. I don't want to die. My teacher is dead. My teacher is dead. Please send help. Send help for my teacher. She is shot but still alive." Reportedly staying on with 911 for another 17 minutes while gunfire is overheard during part of that call. Chloe survived, her father confirming her account. Tonight, families of the victims want to know whether they could have been saved. 10-year-old Jacqueline Casares was alive when she was rescued, but later died at the hospital.
Full of life, full of little firecracker.
Today, a funeral for Jacqueline Casares. Cousins Jace Carmelo Luevanos and Jalen Silguero are being laid to rest too, their family calling them angels who always had a smile on their face.
And Marcus Moore joins me now. Marcus, do you know if any of the parents of the victims are taking steps toward filing a lawsuit?
They are. The family of Amarie Jo Garza, they are filing a lawsuit or are in the process. The lawyers representing her father said that they have filed a petition as a first step towards a lawsuit against the manufacturers of the gunman's AR-15. And this is the same team of lawyers that successfully sued the manufacturers of the rifle used during the Newtown, Connecticut massacre back in 2012. Phil.
And Marcus, before you go, what details have you learned about the congressional hearing on this shooting that is happening next week?
Well, we know that this hearing is going to happen on June 8th of next week, and among those who are expected to testify is the 4th grader, Maya Cerrillo. And if you recall, she was the young person who told of how she played dead to survive. Just a heartbreaking account of what happened there. Also using a phone, the teacher's phone, to call 911. We also understand that Lexi Rubio, one of the young kids who died, her parents will be testifying at that same hearing. And as you know, there has been a call for lawmakers to do something. And this hearing that will happen next week will be this opportunity for those who have been directly impacted by this massacre to appeal directly to the lawmakers who can make a change.
Well, heartbreaking is the right word. Marcus, thank you so much. We turn now to the Texas fugitive who escaped from a prison bus 3 weeks ago. He was killed in a gun battle with police overnight after becoming the prime suspect in the murder of 4 children and their grandfather. Here's ABC's Chief Justice correspondent, Pierre Thomas.
Tonight, 5 members of the same family murdered on vacation in Texas, authorities say, by an escaped killer. Officials believe 46-year-old Gonzalo Lopez, who's been on the run since May 12th, shot and killed 66-year-old Mark Collins and his 4 grandchildren, brothers Hudson, Carson, and Waylon, and their cousin Bryson.
They are a family of the greatest character, the deepest faith, and unrelenting kindness.
The children were all students enrolled at a Houston area school district. The superintendent releasing a statement saying, quote, "The loss of a student for any reason is heartbreaking, but to lose 4 in such a tragic way is excruciating. Authorities say Lopez shot the family with an AR-15 style rifle in Centerville, Texas, in another mass shooting, before stealing their white pickup truck and heading south. The rampage coming to a violent end on Thursday when authorities spotted the pickup and followed Lopez along a dark Texas road. Using spike strips, they flattened all 4 tires as a wild and dangerous chase unfolded.
He actually started shooting when he was still here on the highway.
Moments later, investigators say Lopez crashed the pickup, got out, and opened fire.
After a short chase and a crash, Gonzalo Lopez exited the Chevy Silverado with a firearm and engaged law enforcement officers who engaged back and ultimately killed Lopez.
Phil, the district where the children went to school is offering counseling for students. It's apparently a very close and small community. Phil?
Pierre Thomas, thank you. Now to the arrest of former Trump advisor Peter Navarro, indicted on charges of criminal contempt of Congress for defying a subpoena from the House committee investigating January 6th. The committee had pushed to speak with him about his alleged efforts to help overturn the 2020 election, but Navarro refused, citing executive privilege claims. ABC News congressional correspondent Rachel Scott with details.
Tonight, a defiant Peter Navarro leaving a federal courthouse after being indicted on 2 counts of criminal contempt of Congress.
No American citizen should have to go through what I went through today, who is trying to do the right thing. I'm trying to do my duty to this country. I'm in an untenable position.
Trump's former trade advisor claiming he was handcuffed at an airport gate on his way to Nashville for refusing to comply with the House committee investigating the January 6th insurrection. Navarro was part of Trump's inner circle that pushed false claims about the 2020 election, even writing a book detailing his plan to overturn an election Trump lost. Lawmakers wanted him to turn over documents and testify. He refused, claiming his hands were tied, citing executive privilege. Overnight, the 72-year-old telling MSNBC he was worried about prison.
The average lifespan in America for an American male is 76 years old. If I were to go to prison for a year, which is what the contempt of charge could do to me, that would be about 1/4 of my remaining life.
The indictment, a rare move by the Justice Department. Navarro now the 2nd Trump advisor to face criminal charges. Steve Bannon surrendered to authorities in November, pleading not guilty, and is set for trial next month. The House has also recommended 2 more Trump associates, former Chief of Staff Mark Meadows and Dan Scavino, be charged with contempt. But so far, the Justice Department has not taken action against them.
Rachel Scott joins me now. Rachel, what kind of punishment could Navarro face, and is there anything that could compel him to testify?
Well, Phil, if he is convicted on both counts, he could face up to 2 years in prison, a maximum fine of $200,000. But there is still nothing that would compel him to speak or to comply or cooperate with those House investigators, Phil.
Meantime, Rachel, the January 6th committee is set to begin public hearings next week.
Yeah, next Thursday, that is the day that those televised hearings do kick off, and they'll be happening all throughout June. I can tell you that lawmakers on that committee, they say that they want to reveal to the American people in detail what happened leading up to those moments of the violent insurrection on January 6th, Phil.
A lot of people will be watching, I'm sure. Rachel, thank you so much. And we're going to stay in Washington right now. A retired NYPD officer is under arrest, accused of some pretty disturbing allegations. Authorities tell us the officer was parked near the Capitol with body armor, ammunition, BB guns, and a fake Interpol badge. Capitol Police say showed the badge to an officer claiming he was a criminal investigator. Authorities say it is unclear why he was there. Next here to the tropical threat in Florida, millions on alert for up to 1 foot of rain and 55-mile-an-hour wind gusts. ABC senior meteorologist Rob Marciano joins us now from Naples, Florida, where we can see and hear, Rob, rain already coming down. Can you time this out for us?
Yeah, man, it's been coming down all day, Philip, and still the center of this thing is over 300 miles off the coastline. So we're just getting the right side of this, and it still really hasn't started to strengthen yet. But we'll show you where the rain is right now. It's been coming down all day long, in some cases 3-4 inches per hour. Fort Myers through Key West, all the way up on the east side. Look at those tropical storm warnings. They extend all the way up through Cape Canaveral. All right, the forecast from the National Hurricane Center does bring this to tropical storm strength tonight, and then landfall sometime tomorrow afternoon or midday right here along the southwest Florida coastline, 45, 50-mile-per-hour winds. It will get off the coast pretty quickly. That's the one bright spot with this, but with all the rainfall coming down and the winds, potentially it's going to be dicey. 40, 50-mile-per-hour winds from Key West to Fort Myers to really West Palm Beach. Potentially, we'll see a 1 to 3 foot storm surge. There'll be some embedded tornadoes, too. You can't forget that with this sort of system. But the flash flooding, because we're going to see upwards of a foot of rainfall with this. We've already seen several inches already, but a foot across much of the southern tip of Florida, that will create flash flooding in what's likely to be some stormy conditions over the next 24 hours. Bill?
Rob Marciano from Naples, Florida tonight. Thanks.
You bet.
Meantime, a milestone in Russia's invasion of Ukraine. It has now been 100 days. Ukrainian President Zelensky admitting Russia controls 20% of his country, but defiant in his conviction that Ukraine will come out on top. ABC's senior foreign correspondent Ian Pannell in Ukraine.
Tonight, 100 days since Russia's invasion of Ukraine began, and a defiant message from President Zelensky. In a video echoing the words he spoke at the start of the war, Zelensky taunting Russia, saying, "I am here. My team is here. The people are here." Adding, "We've defended Ukraine for 100 days already. Victory will be ours." But the costs have been enormous. The fighting now focused here in the Donbass in the east, where the Ukrainians are losing ground. Russian forces are now doubling down throughout the Donbass region. President Zelensky's identified 3 key areas that the Russians are determined to take, and this is one of them, the town of Bakhmut. Yes, they are targeting Ukrainian military forces, but as you can see, they're also hitting civilian sites with massive ordnance, causing catastrophic damage. Thousands of civilians have been evacuated from here. Dr. Olga Yurchenko has been rescuing some of them. It's very hard and scary, she says, but who else will do this if we won't? Phil, 100 days in, but no sign of any kind of peace agreement. Zelensky's saying he wants victory. The Kremlin's saying it won't stop until it's achieved its objectives, which presumes it means at least taking the Donbass. A longer, even bloodier war now seems unavoidable. Phil?
Ian Pannell from Ukraine tonight. Thank you. When we come back, monkeypox is continuing its spread across the U.S., what the CDC thinks about the potential risk to the public. She went from child star to rock star. Our conversation with Taylor Momsen of The Pretty Reckless in our series, The Prime Playlist. But up next, just how long could gas prices remain absurdly high? Our journey to see the nation's strategic petroleum reserve and to find out the potential answer from the Energy Secretary herself.
With so much at stake, so much on the line, more Americans turn here than any place else. ABC News World News Tonight with David Muir, America's #1 most watched newscast, now streaming on ABC News Live.
This is ABC News Live.
The crush of families here in Poland.
At refugee centers.
In Putin's Russia.
On the ground in Ukraine.
Close to the front line.
Here at the White House.
Destructive Cat 4 storm.
Here along I-5. Boston is in the bullseye.
Let's go. We made it.
ABC News Live, America's #1 streaming news. Anytime, anywhere. Streaming 24/7 straight to you for free.
Thank you for making ABC News Live America's #1 streaming news.
Admit it, these days, what you need to know
seems to change just about every day.
What is it that you really want to know, need to know?
To help you not just get through your day,
but to make the most of it. Feel smarter.
Feel better.
Feel happier.
Well, how about a third hour of Good Morning America?
GMA 3, what you need to know. Now streaming on ABC News Live.
It's all about you.
The hottest views in daytime are happening right here.
We talk about things on this show that people don't talk about.
That I can't wait to see.
Honest takes from strong women.
We need all hands on deck, and we need it right now. This is the time to speak out.
Unafraid to get real.
We stick by our points of view.
We're all seeing it differently, and that's the beauty of The View.
And that's why the most watched #1 daytime talk show is The View. Now streaming on ABC News Live.
Is that the gun?
That's not the gun.
What is it? I won't ask you again then.
Are you a 19? The deeper you go into black markets,
you put people in your life at risk.
the darker it gets.
Why hasn't anyone come out and spoken?
It's about the money. That's why we do it.
Trafficked. New episodes Wednesdays at 9 on National Geographic.
Take America's #1 news with you anywhere you go, anytime, free. Download the ABC News app now. Breaking news, exclusives, 24/7. There for you with one touch. The ABC News app. Download it now. America's #1 news, ABC News. Most watched, most trusted, and streaming live to you anytime, anywhere, and free. This is ABC News Live, America's #1 streaming news, free to you 24/7. Watch America's #1 news whenever you want it, wherever you are, anytime. ABC News Live, streaming live and free on all platforms.
Welcome back. At least 12 people were hurt after a Greyhound bus they were riding in blew a tire, resulting in the bus driver losing control of the bus. That is according to authorities. Emergency crews raced to the scene, which was about 90 miles outside of L.A., after a crash with another car that followed. One passenger was treated for a serious injury. The others are said to have just minor injuries. Gas prices have hit another record high this week. The national average now at $4.76 a gallon, with AAA reporting at least 8 states with an average for regular gas now at $5 or more. And those prices are likely going to climb in the coming weeks as the summer driving season kicks into high gear. So ABC's Alex Brochet traveled to Louisiana with Energy Secretary Jennifer Granholm for a look at the Biden administration's strategy for easing the pain at the pump.
You're looking at what the Biden administration hopes may be the country's best chance at combating high gas prices. Nestled about 12 miles southwest of Baton Rouge, Louisiana, is Bayou Choctaw, one of 4 strategic petroleum reserve sites in the United States.
Today, I'm authorizing the release of 1 million barrels per day for the next 6 months, over 180 million barrels.
Back in March, President Biden announced his administration's initiative, a record released amid soaring gas prices fueled by record inflation and a ban on Russian oil after Vladimir Putin's invasion of Ukraine. Fast forward 3 months and those energy prices have continued to rise, which is why Energy Secretary Jennifer Granholm visited the Bayou Choctaw SPR site, getting an on-the-ground explainer of the Biden administration's kitchen sink approach to address gas prices.
Is this going to help?
The point of this, it's doing its job because it is to stabilize the global market. I mean, we happen to have the largest tool of any country in terms of the volume of our strategic petroleum reserves.
Do you feel like we're close to that stabilization? Do you think things are going to still continue to tick up?
We are starting the driving season, not just in the United States, but in other parts of the world, too. That means demand for oil products like gasoline goes up.
The national average topping $4.70 for a gallon of regular. Drivers telling us similar stories across the country, from Philadelphia.
These prices are ridiculous.
To the Bay Area.
It's insane. I've never seen prices this high before.
One gas station in Los Angeles is charging $8.05 for a gallon of regular.
This is why the president is trying to use every tool in his toolbox.
But Republicans have criticized this approach. We witnessed the divide firsthand on this trip. The tour was bipartisan. The secretary, Louisiana's Democratic governor, 2 members of Congress, Democrat Troy Carter, and Republican Garrett Graves. But look, during this entire press conference, Graves didn't speak once. Afterwards, we witnessed him in an animated discussion with the secretary. We pulled him aside as he left.
All we're hearing from people, especially here in South Louisiana, is why in the world aren't we accessing all of the reserves we have in our offshore and our onshore, and instead tapping an emergency reserve that is here for the sole purpose. It was really designed to address emergencies. It's not to mitigate for bad policies.
Are you hopeful that there is some common ground in Washington to put forth an initiative to combat gas prices?
You can't see any cohesion, any rationale behind the energy strategy that's coming out of the administration. Look, it's not her. Most of it's the upstream at Department of Interior. They're not issuing lease sales.
One of the Republican critiques of this SPR plan is number one, they say first, there aren't enough leases, but then the second critique that we hear often is that this increases our reliance on countries like Iran and Venezuela.
We don't buy oil from Iran or Venezuela. So those are just really, unfortunately, divisive talking points. There are now 9,000 permits that are sitting there in the oil and gas companies' hands unused. There's over 20 million acres of leases on and offshore that are not being used. That is baloney.
According to the latest stats from the Bureau of Land Management, there are 9,081 approved permits to drill across the country. Once a company gets a permit, they also need to contract rigs to drill the wells, a process experts say takes time, not something that would offer immediate relief at the pump for American families. In a fall election heavily influenced by the economy, gas prices and the future of green energy policy are sure to remain center stage.
I don't want to sugarcoat that. The driving season is beginning. There will be more demand for gasoline, more demand for oil. That will cause additional upward pressure like it does every year, but now it's on top of already high prices. So this is going to be a rough, from now through the end of the year, really.
The administration telling us the president is not taking any options off the table, including the possibility of restricting petroleum exports to ease fuel prices.
But when you have two pieces, you have a vulnerability, right?
Stop number 2 for the secretary focused on clean energy, a General Electric wind power R&D facility in New Orleans. Here, they study blades for wind farms. President Biden signed an executive order to have 100% carbon-free electricity by 2030, 100% of cars purchased by 2035 as zero emissions, and net zero emissions from federal operations by 2050. Biden has also promised to deliver at least 40% of the overall benefits from federal investments in climate and clean energy to disadvantaged communities.
The coast of Louisiana and of Texas, this has been referred to as Cancer Alley. They have borne the brunt of the impacts of environmental pollution. So if you're building these massive wind turbines, people from this community should be employed, if they choose to, in building it.
I know you've seen headlines about inflation, but also along with that is gas prices. What is the Biden administration push?
The message to people is this is why we have to transition to clean energy. It's homegrown. Nobody's weaponizing solar and wind. No country has ever been held hostage to access to wind or to access to solar.
All right, Alex Brochet, thank you. Is still ahead here on Prime, the crypto scam that cost victims thousands. The latest guidance on when kids under the age of 5 could get shots in arms. And can you spell the word that won the spelling bee? We take a look at that remarkable competition by the numbers. But first, our tweet of the day. Celtics veteran Al Horford, the big man, making his NBA Finals debut in a Game 1 comeback win over the Golden State Warriors.
The deeper you go into black markets, the darker it gets.
Trafficked, Wednesdays at 9 on National Geographic.
Right now, with so much at stake, Sunday mornings, this is the place. Taking on all the tough questions. Straightforward reporting. No spin, no hype, no bull. Thank you for making ABC's This Week with George Stephanopoulos the #1 Sunday morning news show versus the competition.
Welcome to This Week.
This is ABC News Live.
The crush of families here in Poland.
At refugee centers.
In Putin's Russia.
On the ground in Ukraine.
Close to the front line.
Here at the White House.
Destructive Cat 4 storm.
Here along I-5. Boston is in the bullseye.
Let's go. We made it.
ABC News Live, America's #1 streaming news. Anytime, anywhere. Streaming 24/7, straight to you for free.
Thank you for making ABC News Live America's #1 streaming news.
Is that the gun?
That's not the gun.
What is it? I won't ask you again then. Are you a Nazi?
The deeper you go into black markets,
You could be putting your life at risk.
the darker it gets.
Why hasn't anyone come out and spoken?
It's about the money. That's why we do it.
Trafficked, new episodes Wednesdays at 9 on National Geographic.
These days, with so much going on, it's hard to keep up.
While others are recapping yesterday's headlines,
We're bringing you the right now.
This is the busy border crossing. Steel barricades, another strike.
The Right Now look at the day ahead, how it affects you and your family.
Record high gas prices.
The threat of cyber warfare.
Is peace possible?
World News Now beginning at 2 a.m. Eastern, followed by America This Morning.
America's #1 early morning news.
Streaming here on ABC News Live.
Take America's #1 news with you anywhere you go, anytime, free. Download the ABC News app now. Breaking news, exclusives, 24/7. There for you with one touch. The ABC News app. Download it now.
As of today, in a big way, we have inaugurated abcnews.com.
A lot has changed in our world since Peter made that announcement. But what hasn't changed is the commitment to groundbreaking reporting and innovation at abcnews.com. And here's to everything ahead.
Welcome back. Moorhen. Moorhen. That was the winning word in last night's nail-biter of a spelling bee. Harini Logan took the national championship in the first ever lightning round tiebreaker. Here's how it played out by the numbers. 229 contestants started out in the preliminary round to spell from a 4,000-word list. In the final stretch, 2 spellers tied with 4 misspelled words each. That prompted a fast-paced spell-off. 21 correctly spelled words in 90 seconds sealed the win for Harini. 6 words. That's how many she beat her competition by. The tiebreaker was a new addition to the bee after 8 spellers tied for the win back in 2019. This was the 14-year-old Harini's 4th try at the Nationals. The Texas 8th grader wins $50,000 in cash and prizes. She is the 5th champion, coached by Grace Walters, a former speller herself and Rice University student. It's been 3 years since the last in-person spelling bee. Harini says she's normally a slow speller and had been practicing for a possible lightning round since the bee announced the new tie-breaking round. And we still have a lot to get to here on Prime. The pomp and circumstance of the Queen's Jubilee continues, but when will the Queen make another appearance at her own party? And it's been referred to as sold-out summer. Is it too late to find a deal? But first, a look at our top trending stories on abcnews.com.
So much at stake in our world right now. We wanted to thank you for your trust and for making ABC News America's #1 news.
And thank you for making ABC News Live America's #1 streaming news.
Now streaming on ABC News Live 2020. True crime, cinematic, real-life drama, stunning, the unthinkable. Follow the clues. The Hunt. True crime 2020. Now streaming on ABC News Live.
National parks are incredibly safe places. A crime will happen.
Hey, Mama. My wife has fallen. She's in really critical condition.
At that time, I thought it was just a tragic accident.
There's still a lot of questions we need to ask.
There were small things that didn't totally add up.
This is 2 lives for Harold that have died now. I was shocked. Something's not right.
Admit it. These days, what you need to know
seems to change just about every day.
What is it that you really want to know, need to know?
To help you not just get through your day,
but to make the most of it. Feel smarter.
Feel better.
Feel happier.
Well, how about a 3rd hour of Good Morning America?
GMA 3, what you need to know. Now streaming on ABC News Live.
It's all about you.
I know what happened, and I'm not guilty.
Why the fascination with criminal trials? Figure out what's really out there. She revealed she had murdered his family.
I know in my heart that he did this.
It's the time of suspicion.
The ending's really tough. You don't know whether truth is going to be difficult to find unless you try to find it.
America's #1 news, ABC News. Most watched, most trusted, and streaming live to you anytime, anywhere, and free. This is ABC News Live, America's #1 streaming news. Free to you 24/7. Watch America's #1 news whenever you want it, wherever you are, anytime. ABC News Live, streaming live and free on all platforms.
With a row of illuminated candles behind him representing all U.S. states and territories, President Biden making an emotional plea for action in a primetime address Thursday night.
It's time to act, for God's sake.
The president calling on Congress to pass red flag and safe storage laws and strengthen background checks. He also wants to ban assault weapons and high-capacity magazines. This after consecutive mass shootings in recent weeks. In Buffalo, New York,
10 black people were killed at a supermarket in what authorities believe was a racially motivated attack. Then at Robb Elementary in Uvalde, Texas, 19 children and 2 teachers shot dead.
The latest on Wednesday in Tulsa, Oklahoma.
Authorities say 4 people were shot dead at a medical facility by a disgruntled patient targeting a doctor.
Another deadly shooting near a place of worship.
This time, it was Cornerstone Church, a mega church on the outskirts of Ames, Iowa, north of Des Moines.
Unfortunately, this tragic event took the lives of 2 young females. The shooter was also pronounced dead at the scene.
The number of confirmed and presumed cases of monkeypox in the U.S. continues to rise.
But the CDC says it's still too early to know if it will become an epidemic. Suspected or confirmed cases of monkeypox are now reported in at least 11 states. The most recent presumptive cases were reported in Philadelphia, Los Angeles, and Chicago.
The White House expecting final FDA and CDC approval to begin the COVID-19 vaccination of children under 5 years old. Assuming that will happen, COVID-19 response coordinator Dr. Ashish Jha anticipating getting jabs into the youngest arms by the end of the month.
Scientists now say that new variants are set to keep COVID circulating at high levels in the coming months and possibly into winter. Recent research suggests new variants can get past immunity barriers made by the vaccines and past infections. Dr. Anthony Fauci says that means we need a new kind of vaccine now. Well, Dr. Fauci says current vaccines and boosters still provide a good amount of protection from COVID, hospitalization, and death.
A balancing act for President Biden today after a better-than-expected May jobs report despite record inflation. The Bureau of Labor Statistics reporting 390,000 new jobs were created last month, leaving unemployment at a steady 3.6%, a pandemic low. The president crediting his economic plan and the rollout of a vaccination program for the jobs growth. But while the employment numbers are good, the state of the economy is complicated, with record-high inflation driving up consumer prices and eating into Americans' income.
At the same time, some businesses may be looking to scale back on production and hiring. Tesla CEO Elon Musk says he may lay off some employees. Musk's announcement comes a day after Ford's president announced it's revving up its EV production at 3 plants, and it will create thousands of new jobs.
We take you now across the pond to day 2 of 4 days of festivities, marking the Queen's 70 years on the throne. But the Queen herself was absent for today's celebrations. She was initially planning to attend a service at London's St. Paul's Cathedral in her honor, but after multiple events yesterday and her ongoing mobility issues, the 96-year-old monarch decided to watch from her home in Windsor Castle instead. Royal watchers completely understand and are happy she is pacing herself.
Bless her. So she does need her rest. It was a big day yesterday.
As you can see, Prince Harry and his wife Meghan were in attendance, making their first public appearance together in the UK since stepping back from royal duties 2 years ago.
A California appeals court has ruled that 4 species of bumblebees are legally fish. California's Fish and Game Commission, as well as some agricultural groups, have been fighting about the issue since 2019, when the commission added some bees to the state's endangered species list. In order to do that, they had to list the insect under the fish category. Agricultural groups sued, arguing insects were not directly listed in the statute and could not be protected, but after 3 years of legal battle, the state sided with the commission.
From child actress to teen TV sensation to bona fide rock star, Taylor Momsen has been in the public eye since she was 2. Over the years, her growth has been less of a transformation and more of a journey to revealing her true self. In her first face-to-face interview in years, I got a chance to spend some time with the singer-songwriter and talk about life, loss, and all that lies in between. It's tonight's Prime Playlist. On a stage in Toledo, Ohio, Taylor Momsen, lead singer of The Pretty Reckless, is back at it, in more ways than one. Just 9 shows into the band's first tour in 5 years, it's like no time has passed. But ask Taylor, and she'll tell you she's lived a lifetime in those 5 years. Tremendous success, coupled with deep, painful depression.
Well, first of all, thank you for doing it.
No, thank you for having me.
This is also her first face-to-face interview in 5 years. Now 28, Taylor began her life in front of the camera shortly after she learned to walk.
My mom's a good cook. This is how you make shake and bake.
I was very talkative. I think my modeling agent said she should go on auditions because she's very chatty.
Her big break? At the age of 5.
Where are you, Christmas? Why can't I find you?
Adorable Cindy Lou Who in How the Grinch Stole Christmas, starring right alongside Jim Carrey. Then years later, an even bigger break.
I thought this was an emergency.
A fashion emergency.
Landing the role of Jenny Humphrey on the CW teen drama Gossip Girl.
I don't think I need you as my mentor anymore.
Just a teen herself at the time, fame came fast and wasn't always fun.
I was getting photographed as my character and being put in the tabloids as Taylor Momsen's wearing this, Taylor Momsen's doing this. And so I got very frustrated with that.
So when she was old enough, Taylor took control of her life and went from teen star to teen rock star. No more acting.
Me wanna die.
Her 2010 debut album, Light Me Up, a bit jarring for some who knew her as a child actress, though she seemed to embrace it at the time.
Does what I'm wearing seem to shock you? Well, that's okay. 'Cause what I'm thinking about you is not okay.
Still, there was much more buzz about what she was wearing than what she was writing.
It's the songs, those last forever, and that's what I put all my heart and soul into and slaved over, and no one's even mentioning that.
But The Pretty Reckless pressed on. Taylor and longtime writing partner guitarist Ben Phillips continued to write. The band's sophomore album was a hit. The song Heaven Knows went platinum.
Oh, Lord, heaven knows we belong way down below. Sing it.
Then in 2016, releasing Who You Selling For with hits like Take Me Down. Death, a common theme through much of her music, and it was death that stopped the rock powerhouse in her tracks.
Black hole sun, won't you come?
On tour with Soundgarden at the peak of her career.
Rocker Chris Cornell died last night while on tour in Detroit. His representatives say Cornell's death was sudden and unexpected.
Cornell, a rock idol for Taylor, found in his hotel room. Death by suicide.
I wasn't prepared for it. Like, I didn't know how to kind of mentally wrap my mind around it.
Soon after, the band would cancel the rest of the tour. Time off, needed to grieve and regroup.
I was starting to write some songs, and I called Cato, and I said, hey, man, like, I have some stuff. I don't know if it's for a record or for what, but, like, we all need to get out of this funk.
Taylor calls Cato Kandwala her best friend, her family, her musical soulmate. It's hard to overstate his role in her life, a huge part of the band's success, too. 11 months after Cornell died, just as they got back into the studio, Cato was killed in a motorcycle crash.
I fell into a very, very dark, deep hole of depression.
You had thoughts? Like at that point, that why bother living?
Why bother trying? I think. I was like, everything I love is dead. What's the point?
A question she would ask over and over while isolating herself from the band and from the world around her.
And it feels like that's where you live now. That's where you are.
There's no light at the end.
There's no light at the end of the tunnel, and if there is, you can't see it.
But slowly, she began putting much of what she was feeling into her latest album, Death by Rock and Roll. Writing as she has done for the better part of 15 years with Phillips.
I would almost go so far to say as I think it might be our best accomplishment to date.
It is. It's much like the first record. The first record
it's very inspired.
Was very inspired.
Inspiration so desperately needed. The irony, Taylor says, Death by Rock and Roll might have saved her life.
I think anyone who's struggled with depression or substance abuse or both can attest that when you're in it,
it seems like this inescapable place.
A place so many have been to, and tragically, some never come back from.
How would you tell someone to begin to live again?
Oh man, that's a big question.
And the answer, at least for Taylor, is complicated. But the reason she's sitting here today.
It's never gonna go away. It changes you as a person, but what it will do is it will turn into a scar, and it will heal.
The healing for Taylor continues, moving forward, touring again, and just 2 hours before taking the stage in Toledo, even indulging a longtime fan, playing her song, Just Tonight. Laughing, living, and creating again, inviting us to a secret video shoot in Brooklyn.
Ready to play the song.
For a song off the new album. 12 years after her first album, her love of music and performing is as strong as ever. Yes, she has a few more of those scars, she describes, scars that are now just part of who she is. Coming full circle, writing about love for a song 2 members of Soundgarden helped record. And if you or anyone you know is in a dark place, struggling like Taylor has, it is so important to hear her now say this.
There is light at the end of the tunnel. It does get better. Just wait it out, baby steps, and you will get to the other side, and that's a wonderful thing.
That is such an important message. It can be hard to see hope when you are in such a dark place, she mentions. If you or someone you know is struggling, you are not alone, and there is help available. The National Suicide Prevention Lifeline provides 24/7 free and confidential support. The number, 1-800-273-8255. It's right there on your screen. And of course, our thanks to Taylor, Ben, and the band, The Pretty Reckless, on tour now. That video coming soon. With thousands of flights being canceled all across the country due to weather delays, pilot and staffing shortages, and fewer flights overall, there are ways for you to plan and protect your vacations to make sure that you can get there on time. Joining me now is David Slotnick, senior aviation reporter at The Points Guy, with some tips during this so-called sold-out summer. David, welcome and thanks. Appreciate it.
Thank you for having me. Thanks. Nice to be here.
Good to have you here. So right off the bat, you recommend booking the earliest possible flight. A lot of people say that. Why is it, though?
Yeah, so it's a good idea generally, just because a lot of these delays happen as there's bad weather around the country. Just you see thunderstorms, you see delays pile up throughout the day. If you get on that first flight, chances are you're going to be okay. You know, those delays haven't started to rack up yet. And just aside from that, you know, the flight is usually positioned, the plane is positioned at the airport where it's going to be leaving first thing in the morning. So, you know, there's really no risk of a delayed inbound aircraft.
I would imagine it's also easier to rebook when you're on that earlier flight. If you're on the last flight, you may wind up staying over where you're at, too.
That's exactly it.
Always a good idea to be flexible. I know that's not easy for a lot of people, but to be flexible with your plans, oftentimes that's really hard to do. You recommend having a backup plan. What does that look like?
Yeah, so I mean, it's something that you can decide, you know, as trouble starts to pop up. You don't necessarily need to do this every time you fly, but it's not the worst idea. Just, you know, see what other flights there are. You know, if it's a Tuesday and you're delayed at New York or something, trying to get to Palm Beach, see what other flights there are. You might be able to get yourself on one if something gets canceled. You might be able to, you know, ask your airline to change you onto it, but it's just good to know what else is out there. A lot of the times when you go to customer support and ask for help, you know, they just see one option that pops up, or they just look at the closest option. If you know what else is out there, you can sort of help them find what's going to work best for you.
Right. And that's when the frustration begins, one option. Let's talk about the airlines, which are seeing record demand, record cancellations. What's the best strategy when booking your flights?
You know, it depends whether you're looking really for the best deal or the most reliability. One thing that we say a lot is that if you book one of the network airlines, so Delta, American, United, you know, you have a better chance. They usually have agreements with each other where if one of their flights is canceled and one of the other ones is flying to the same place, they might rebook you on that other airline. It's called interline agreements. It's just a way to help get people where they need to go. The low-cost airlines, which cost less, and that's a big benefit, don't necessarily have that. So if you end up getting stuck or canceled, there are fewer options. You might have to pay out of pocket to rebook your own ticket. So, you know, that's just one thing to keep in mind. aside from that, just being early, being on that first flight, it really makes a world of difference.
So we're seeing a lot of this. I'm sure you are too. Massive lines at ticket counters at airports all across the country, sometimes even stretching outside of the terminal. Is there a better way to get help if you have a delayed or canceled flight?
So there's two options. The first, which I always say, is just try and be your own advocate. Look at your flight before you leave for the airport. Maybe check it in the days leading up to it, see what the weather is, and see if you can spot any problems before they pop up. If that happens, you can go into the app, you can go on the website, and usually you can handle these problems yourself. You can rebook onto a different routing or a different flight that day. And it's just very easy to do yourself. If that fails and there's a cancellation at the last minute, you're at the airport, one option is to try going to the airline lounge. Sometimes, you might have access to it through a credit card or something without even realizing. But if you go there are reservation agents who are helping passengers. They're helping people get rebooked. And the lines tend to be a lot shorter. So, that's just always an option. And the big three airlines, at the very least, have that.
You use the word advocate. You also talk about knowing your rights as a traveler. This is really important. What are the most important rights you need to know about?
So the key is if the airline cancels your flight, you are entitled to a refund. There's no question about that. It gets a little bit murkier if things are delayed, but if there's a cancellation, absolutely no question, you get your refund back for the unused portion of your ticket. If that's something that happens, you could potentially book yourself on a different flight that day, and you know that you're going to get the refund, so you can pay for it. On top of that, it's just always a good idea to check which credit card you booked the ticket with. A lot of the times there's travel insurance actually built into your credit card, and they'll pay for maybe a different flight home or for the expenses that you incur out of pocket when there's a delay. So, that's an option that a lot of people have if you haven't necessarily booked a separate travel insurance policy.
Finally, David, there are still deals out there for the late summer, early fall, if you have some flexibility with travel dates, right?
Yeah, there's still a handful of things popping up. Europe, believe it or not, there are some low-cost airlines. And again, you're getting a low cost here, maybe less flexibility and less reliability, but the price is right. And you can get to Europe for just a few $100s. That's going out throughout the year. Cancun, that's another one that we're seeing, especially in the shoulder season or the beginning of it. So think late August, early September, and then through September. So if you're not going around school schedules, that's a great one. Within the U.S., there have been flights to Chicago. We see some to Palm Beach, other places in Florida, which frankly is surprising considering what vacation hotspots those are. So, one trick, just go into Google Flights, put your home airport, go into the Explore tab, and see what's popping up as a cheap option from your airport.
I'm just sitting here listening to you with these tips, and I'm thinking it's great that we're even having this conversation, because a year, 2 years ago, right in the heart of the pandemic, we weren't talking about this kind of stuff. So it's a little bit of normalcy returning. All great tips for making your summer travel and beyond less stressful. David Slotnick, senior aviation reporter from The Point Sky. Thanks so much for taking the time. We do appreciate it.
Thanks very much.
Now to the rise in cryptocurrency scams, some victims losing thousands of dollars. The Federal Trade Commission is out with a new report, and ABC News' Rebecca Jarvis has it.
New data from the FTC about scammers in the crypto craze. Since the start of 2021, more than 46,000 people reported losing more than $1 billion in crypto to scams.
People hear stories about other people making lots of money. They don't want to miss out.
And those 20 to 49, more than 3 times as likely as older people to lose money. Jeffrey Volks says he was duped after seeing what he thought was a legitimate post on a friend's social media page about making a lot of money investing in crypto. He says he initially reached out, set up an account, made an initial $500 investment, and saw a huge jump.
In my account, it was $4,900. And I was like, wow, I made $4,900. And I was so excited. He was like, how would you like this money to be sent?
Then Jeffrey says he was told he needed to pay a withdrawal fee and more fees to send the check.
I lost $1,200 and I felt embarrassed.
He says only after all this, he discovered that post was fake.
There's also no bank, no centralized authority to flag suspicious transactions and stop fraud before it happens.
Rebecca Jarvis tonight, thank you. We are tracking several headlines around the world at this hour. That tropical storm Rob mentioned earlier that's heading for Florida collapsed the streets and avenues of Havana as heavy rain hit areas in western and central Cuba. Locals were seen standing in streets with water covering their legs while actually pushing jammed cars and buses. Hundreds of people took to the streets of Pakistan after the former prime minister there called on Pakistanis to protest rising inflation following a government hike in fuel prices. The country raised prices by about 20% last week. Restaurant goers in the Nigerian city of Lagos are given the illusion of walking into a giant coloring book. The walls, floors, and ceilings are decorated by Egyptian-themed murals at Sketch Lagos. The concept behind the restaurant was inspired by the need to do something different for food and art lovers. That's according to the manager. Customers are encouraged to bring their crayons. And this tonight, imagine getting a free couch off Craigslist, and instead of finding crumbs or pennies or something like that, you find stacks of cash. Rob McMillan from KABC in Los Angeles has the lucky story in tonight's Local Lowdown.
When Vicky Umodu moved into her new home in Colton, she needed furniture. So she went looking for some online.
I decided to go to Craigslist.
And as she scrolled through Craigslist, she found 2 sofas and a matching chair that someone was giving away for free.
I said, oh, maybe it's a gimmick, but I just said, let me call them.
Turns out, she said the family offering these couches had just lost a loved one, and so they were just going through the house trying to get rid of as much stuff as quickly as possible.
I was so excited, so we picked it up, we brought it in.
But later, as she was examining one of the cushions back at home, she felt something strange inside.
I felt something, I thought it was a heat pad.
And when she unzipped it and looked inside, it was no heating pad. Instead, several envelopes filled with cash, thousands and thousands of dollars.
I was just like, telling my son, come. I was screaming, come. It's money, I need to call the guy.
She did the right thing and returned all the money back to the family. We reached out to that family and they told us it was actually about $36,000. As a way to say thank you, they let Vicky keep $2,200, money she needed to buy a new refrigerator. Question is, why was that much money stuffed inside a cushion in the first place?
Inside his bedroom and some places, they were getting like $100, $200 here and there.
So perhaps the man had been hiding money all over the house. Who knows? As for Vicky, she said she never once considered keeping the money.
God has been kind to me and my children. So they are all alive and well. I have 3 beautiful grandchildren. So what can I ever ask from God?
All right, Rob McMillan, thank you for that. And before we go tonight, the image of the day, and we can't think of a better one here at ABC News Live. Meet Sonia Rosa Gittes. This perfect little 6-pound, 8-ounce cutie is the daughter of Danny and our director, Revy. We are so happy for both of them, and on behalf of Prime and the entire ABC News Live team, we are wishing them all the health and happiness in the world. That's the way to end a week. And that's our show for this hour. Stay tuned to ABC News Live for more context and analysis of the day's top stories. I'm Phil Lipoff. Thanks for streaming with us.
America's #1 news, ABC.